You probably never thought there could be anything worse than rock bottom, but today I'm here to prove you absolutely wrong. There is something worse than rock bottom, and it's a little concept I want to talk about today called the region beta paradox. Super powerful, can completely mess up your life if you are not careful. I mean, not completely mess it up, but you can get into danger. So I'm going to break down what that is, why it's worse than rock bottom, give you a couple tangible examples so that hopefully you never fall into this trap and you can call it out in your life when you see it and ultimately avoid it. So the region beta paradox, I'm not going to give the exact definition, but it's essentially when you're worse off, it's actually better than being a little bit better than worse off. That sounds terrible. Let me say that again. Essentially, it's sometimes being better off is worse than being worse off. Reason being, sometimes hitting rock bottom, actually a lot of times, hitting rock bottom fully is better than if you're just above rock bottom, because then you just sit in this fucked up period of, things kind of suck, but they're not that bad. I guess I'll just kind of keep doing this for a little bit. Like you see this in relationships, you see this in jobs that you don't like, you see this maybe like with the income level that you're currently at. There's so many different examples where like your life is bad, but it's not so bad that it would lead to you making a drastic change. Drug addicts, for example. When they finally hit rock bottom, it's kind of like a breath of fresh air. Obviously, we don't want anyone to die, but like go to the hospital, like something serious happens, because then you fucking change. Then you go to rehab. Then you put the pills down. Then you throw the bottle away, whatever. With a relationship, when somebody just fucking cheats on you, or you get in a huge fight, or you have a massive disagreement, which leads to being like, we're not compatible, we need to break up. That's ultimately a good thing. That if neither of those rock bottom situations happened, and then you're just sitting in this zone of shit's bad, but it's not that bad for like way too long. Way too long. Think about a bad relationship. How many months go by completely fucking wasted? You're wasting your own time and you're wasting the other person's time because it's not bad enough to end it, but you knew it was always going to end, right? Same thing with a drug addict. A drug addict could have a shitty fucking life for 5 years and then finally hit rock bottom and then makes a change and get their life turned around. It would have been better if that drug addict hit rock bottom in month 2. In month 2, if they would have hit rock bottom, then they would have fucking changed. So how crazy is that? We like to think sometimes that, oh, rock bottom's not good. We want to avoid that, blah, blah, blah. But it's like, sometimes it's the fucking pain and the massive discomfort and the big event or like really being in a fucked situation that's in the long term or even the medium term is ultimately better for your life, right? It's kind of like rock bottom situations. You might think in the moment like, wow, this sucks. Oh, this is so painful. Oh, I don't like this, whatever. But it's like, you don't even know if that's a bad thing. In the moment, it might feel bad. Zoom out a year, zoom out 5 years, 10 years. You might point back to that time and be like, that was the best fucking thing that ever happened to me. Best fucking thing that ever happened to me. How fucking trippy is that? So I would encourage you to look at those areas of your life. I was talking to a friend of mine last night. He's 28 or about to turn 28 and he lives at home. And I was telling him about all the growth that comes from living at home. And he was like, yeah, but blah, 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 throwing out all these like excuses, justifying to himself why it's like better for him to be living at home, even though he knows he doesn't like it. He knows there's a lot of negatives. And I told him, I go, bro, this is the region beta paradox. Like shit is bad, but it's not bad enough to where you're going to make a change. So then just months and months and months, years and years go by and you still haven't moved out of your parents' house. It would be better if they just cut your ass off and kicked you out on the street. In the moment, you'd be like, what the fuck? In the moment, you'd be like, I'm getting kicked out on the street. My parents hate me. What the hell? And then you move out on your own, you figure out your shit, you get your finances dialed, you have a ton of personal growth that happens from that. 6 months down the line, you're like, thank you. You're telling your parents, thank you. Like, I'm so happy that you kicked my ass out on the curb because I am so much better off and I needed the kick. I needed the kick in the butt. And that's the fucking thing about life that I'm learning. Sometimes you have to learn the hard way. Sometimes learning the hard way is the only way that you learn. And it is ultimately the best way. So look for these areas in your life. Do not fall subject to the region beta paradox, and like maybe welcome some rock bottoms into your life. Maybe even try to think about, okay, this situation is bad. How can I make it so bad or so painful or so fucked up that I have to change sooner? Because the sooner you make changes, the sooner you're gonna get the result that you actually want, and the sooner you're gonna be living your friggin' ultimate best life. Thanks for watching. Cheers.